Cry the Beloved Country, Chapter 4. Johannesburg. From Nkopo, the toy train climbs up into other hills, the green rolling hills of Lufafa eastward, Donnybrook. From Donnybrook, the broad gauge runs to the great valley of the Umkumas. Here the tribe lives, and the soil is sick, almost beyond healing. Back to chapter 1. Up out of the valley it climbs, past Hemu to Elandskop. I want you to notice here all the different languages that come into this writing, into these name places. Elandskop is an Afrikaans word, meaning the head of an eland, a great buck, a great deer. Then you have, of course, the Umkumas, a Zulu word, and Donnybrook, an English word. So the mixing here of the English with the Zulu, with the Dutch, comes into the naming of these places. Down the long valley of the Umsindusi, past Edendale and the black slums to Pietermaritzburg, the lovely city. Change here to the greatest train of all, the train for Johannesburg. Here is a white man's wonder, a train that has no engine, only an iron cage on its head, taking power from metal ropes stretched out above. I still remember taking the train from Cape Town to Johannesburg when I was a boy, and it began as a steam engine. Well, when we were in Cape Town, it left Cape Town as this electric engine, but then as soon as it got out into the desert, there'd be a great shifting because there's no more power, and it would reconnect to a steam locomotive, and there'd be clanging and jarring. After about an hour and a half, the train would start moving on again, but this time it would be all the way to Joburg, 1,000 miles north. I remember as a kid loving this sense of transition. And then as soon as we got into the outskirts of Johannesburg, we'd then de-link ourselves from the steam engine and back onto the electricity that poured out of Johannesburg. Change here to the greatest train of all, to Johannesburg, second paragraph. Climb up to Hilton and Lions River, to Balgowan, Rosetta, Mooi River, Mooi Afrikaans for beautiful, through hills lovely, beyond any singing of it. It's the same line from the first chapter. What a beautiful sentence. Through hills lovely, beyond any singing of it. Thunder through the night, over battlefields of long ago, where all the frontier wars happened between the white tribes and the Xhosas and the Zulus. Climb over the Drakensberg, the highest mountains in southern Africa, onto the level plains. Wake in the swaying coach to the half-lights before the dawn. The engine is steaming again, and there are no more ropes overhead. This is a new country, a strange country, rolling and rolling away as far as the eye can see. There are new names here, hard names for a Zulu who has been schooled in English, for they are in the language that was called Afrikaans, a language that he had never yet heard spoken. In Afrikaans is language which comes from the Dutch, my second language. The mines, they cry, the mines! For many of them are going to work in the mines. So the gold mines. Are these the mines, those white flats in the distance? He can ask safely, for there is no one here who heard him yesterday. That is the rock out of the mines, Umfundisi. The gold has been taken out. How does the rock come out? We go down and dig it out, Umfundisi, and when it is hard to dig, we go away, and the white men blow it out with fire sticks. Then we come back and clear it away. We load it onto the trucks, and it goes up in a cage, up a long chimney, so long that I cannot say it for you. How does it go up? It is wound up by a great wheel. Wait, I shall show you one. He is silent, and his heart beats a little faster with excitement. There is the wheel, Mfundisi. There is the wheel. A great iron structure rearing up into the air, and a great wheel above it, going so fast that the spokes play tricks with the sight. Great buildings, and steam blowing out of pipes, and men hurrying about. A great white hill, and an endless procession of trucks climbing up upon it, high up in the air. On the ground, motor cars, lorries, buses, one great confusion. Is this Johannesburg? He asks. They laugh confidently. Old hands, some of them are. That is nothing, they say. In Johannesburg, there are buildings so high, they cannot describe them. My brother, says one, you know that hill that stands so straight behind my father's kraal, as high as that? The other man nods, but Kumalo does not know that hill. And now the buildings are endless. The buildings and the white hills and the great wheels and streets without number and cars and lorries and buses. This is surely Johannesburg, he says. Laugh again. They are growing a little tired. This is nothing, they say. Railway lines, it is a wonder. To the left, to the right, so many that he cannot count. A train rushes past them with a sudden roaring of sound that makes him jump into his seat. And on the other side, one of them, another races beside them, but drops slowly behind. Stations, more than he has ever imagined. People are waiting there in hundreds, but the train rushes past, leaving them disappointed. The buildings get higher, the streets more uncountable. How does one find one's way in such a confusion? It is dusk, and the lights are coming on in the streets. One of the men points for him. Johannesburg, Umfundisi. He sees great high buildings. There are red and green lights on them, almost as tall as the buildings. They go on and on, go on and off. Water comes out of a bottle till the bottle is full. Then the lights go out, and when they come on again, lo, the bottle is full again and upright, and the glass is empty. And there goes the bottle again. Black and white, it says, black and white, though it is red and green. It is too much to understand. He is silent. His head aches. He is afraid. There is this railway station to come, this great place with all its tunnels under the ground. The train stops under a great roof. There are thousands of people. Steps go down into the earth, and here is the tunnel under the ground. Black people, white people, some coming, going, so many that the tunnel is full. He goes carefully that he may not bump into anybody, holding tightly onto his bag. He comes out into a great hall, and the stream goes up the steps, and here he is out on the street. The noise is immense. Cars and buses, one behind the other, more than he has ever imagined. The stream goes over the street, but remembering Mpantsazi's son, he is afraid to follow. Lights change from green to red and back to green. He has heard that. When it is green, you may go. But when he starts across, a great bus swings across the path. There is some law of it that he does not understand. and he retreats back again. He finds himself a place against the wall. He will look as though he's waiting for some purpose. His heart beats like that of a child. There is nothing to do or think to stop it. Jigsaw, watch over me, he says to himself. Jigsaw, watch over me. The young man came to him and spoke to him in a language he did not understand. I do not understand you, he said. You are a Xhosa then, Umfundisi. Zulu, he said. Two biggest black tribal languages in South Africa, Zulu and Xhosa, but there are many others. Where do you want to go, Umfundisi? To Sovietown, young man. Come with me then, and I shall show you. He was grateful for this kindness, but half of him was afraid. He was glad the young man did not offer to carry his bag, but he spoke courteously, though in a strange Zulu. The lights turned green, and his guide started across the street. Another car swung across his path, but the guide did not falter, and the car came to a stop. It made one feel confidence. He could not follow the turnings that they made under the high buildings, but at last, his arm tied beyond endurance by the bag, they came to a place of many buses. You must stand in the line, Umfundisi. Have you your money for the ticket? Quickly, eagerly, as though he must show this young man that he has appreciated his kindness, he put down his bag and took out his purse. He was nervous to ask how much it was, and took £1 from his purse. Shall I get your ticket for you, Umfundisi? Then you need not lose your place in the line, while I go to the ticket office. Thank you, he said. The young man took the £1 and walked a short distance to the corner. As he turned it, Kumalo was afraid. The line moved forward, and he with it, clutching his bag. And again forward, and again forward, and soon he must enter a bus. But still, he had no ticket. As though he had suddenly thought of something, he left the line and walked to the corner. But there was no sign of the young man. He sought courage to speak to someone, and went to an elderly man, decently and cleanly dressed. Where is the ticket office, Umfundisi? What ticket office, Umfundisi? For the ticket for the bus. Oh, you get the ticket on the bus. There is no ticket office. The man looked a decent man, and the parson spoke to him humbly. I gave £1 to a young man, he said, and he told me he would get my ticket at the ticket office. Oh, you have been cheated, Umfundisi. Can you see the young man? No, you will not see him again. Look, come with me. Where are you going? Sovietown? Yes, Sovietown, to the mission house. Oh yes, I too am Anglican. Anglican is the name of the church denomination. Anglican, the Church of England. In America they are called the Episcopalian Church. I was waiting for someone, but I shall wait no longer. I shall come with you myself. Do you know the Reverend Msmangu? Indeed, I have a letter from him, said Kumalo. They again took the last place in the line, and in due time they took their places in the bus. It in its turn swung out into the confusion of the streets. The driver smoked carelessly, and it was impossible not to admire such courage. Street after street, light after light, as though they would never end. At times, at such speed that the bus swayed from side to side, and the engine roared in their ears. They alighted at a small street, and there were still thousands of people about. They walked a great distance, through streets crowded with people. His new friend helped to carry his bag, but he felt confidence in him. At last they stopped before a lighted house, and knocked. The door opened, and a young man in clerical dress opened to them. Mr. Mr. I bring a friend to you, the Reverend Kumalo from Mbocheni. Come in, my friends. Mr. Kumalo, I am glad to greet you. Is this your first visit to Johannesburg? Kumalo could not boast any more. He had been safely guided and warmly welcomed. He spoke humbly. I am much confused, he said. I owe much to our friend. You fell into good hands. This is Mr. Mafolo, one of our big businessmen, and a good son of the church. But not before he had been robbed, said the businessman. So the story had to be told, and there was much sympathy and advice. You are no doubt hungry, Mr. Kumalo. Mr. Mafolo, will you stay for some food? But Mr. Mafolo would not wait. The door shut after him, and Kumalo settled himself in a big chair and accepted a cigarette, though it was not his custom to smoke. The room was light, and the great, bewildering town shut out. He puffed like a child at his smoke, and was thankful. The long journey to Johannesburg was over, and he had taken a liking to this young, confident man. In good time, no doubt, they would come to discuss the reason for this pilgrimage at an end. For the moment, it was enough to feel welcome and secure.